Now let's move on to meter as promised. As you might imagine, this is closely related to poetic meter or rhythmic grouping. Music is most often organized into groups of 2, 3, or 4 beats per bar. We use bar lines to indicate bar boundaries and to make reading easier. Less standard groupings or meters would be 5, 7, 8, 10, or in fact any number of beats. So any grouping is possible, but 2, 3, and 4 beats per bar are the most common. These bars then represent the meter. So when we speak of duple meter, typical of marches for example, we mean 2 beats per bar. Triple meter, typical of waltzes, would be 3 beats per bar. Quadruple meter, or 4 beats per bar, would be the 4/4 that is most common in Western classical music or electronic dance music. In fact, it's so common that it's called common time. Generally, we're talking about crotchet or quarter note beats here, though it's possible to have the beat be minims or quavers or any basic rhythmic duration. So though 4/4, 4 crotchets per bar, is most common, it's possible to have quadruple meter with 1/8 notes or minims as the basic beat. The way we indicate meter is with a time signature. This consists of 2 numbers, a numerator on top and a denominator on the bottom, as with fractions in arithmetic. The numerator tells us how many beats there are per bar, and the denominator indicates the beat type. So 4/4 means 4 quarter notes or crotchets per bar, whereas 3/8 means 3 quaver or 1/8 notes per bar. Now, each of these bars has, or tends to have, weak or strong beats. In Western classical music, we tend to favor the downbeat or odd beats in general. If you have a 4/4 bar, that is a quadruple meter, the accent would generally be on beats 1 and 3. So for instance, if we listen to Mozart's Eine kleine Nachtmusik, you can see quite clearly and hear these accents. Some pop and jazz music, on the other hand, tends to favor the off or even beats. In a 4/4 bar, this would be beats 2 and 4, and this gives it the characteristic rhythmic feel we associate with this type of music, very often with a strong snare drum stroke on those off beats. It doesn't stop there, I'm afraid. In Western notation, we speak of 2 basic types of meter, simple and compound. Simple meters are those that divide into beats of 2, 4, 8, etc. So when we look at a simple 4/4 bar, we tend to subdivide that into 1/8 notes, 16th notes, etc. That is groups of 2, 4, 8, powers of 2. Compound meters, on the other hand, use dotted rhythms as their basic beat, so that it's very easy to subdivide into 3. The most common compound meter would be a 6/8 bar. This clearly does have 6 quavers or 1/8 notes per bar, but instead of being felt as 6 beats per bar, it's felt as 2 dotted crotchet or dotted quarter notes per bar, each subdivided into 3. This allows us, in this case, to avoid having to write tuplets all the time, or triplets, because essentially the equivalent would be a triplet 1/8 note in a 2/4 bar.